Alright, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and today I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite movies of 2014. Now, we are 2 months into the new year, 2015 already, but there was a few movies that I still wanted to get under my belt. Like I've watched all the Oscar-related movies. The only one that I haven't seen that might make my list is Whiplash. So bear in mind, I have not seen Whiplash, so that is why it's not on my list. And there was a few movies that I wanted to see that weren't Oscar-related, but I thought they were my type of movies, like John Wick. Awesome movie. Almost made my list, but didn't. But still, just an awesome action movie with Keanu Reeves. Now, let's start this list off with number 10, Cold in July. This is Michael C. Hall, Dexter, and Dexter is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Probably number 3. I'll eventually do a top 10 favorite TV shows, but I love Michael C. Hall. I really hope that he starts getting more roles now that Dexter is done, because he's a phenomenal actor. And this is Michael C. Hall with, a mullet, based in the 80s with synthesizer music. Like the trailer, what I like about this trailer is that they have like this, really 80s music, and that music actually plays in the movie. I hate it when you watch a trailer and then they have this song playing and you're like, oh, that sounds so awesome. It's going to be awesome, that movie, but they don't actually have it in the movie. It's just for the trailer. I don't like that. Cold in July, thankfully, has the song or the music in the movie as well. So anyway, Here's the general synopsis of this movie. Michael C. Hall wakes up in the middle of the night and there's an intruder in his home. He shoots him in self-defense, kills the man, and then the cops show up and they say, because it was self-defense, nothing, you did what's right, you're okay. But the guy's father that he killed is still around, and he's upset that Michael C. Hall killed him, even though it's self-defense, obviously. And he's kind of a shady character as well. So that's all you need to know. If that sounds interesting, definitely check this movie out. If you still need a little bit more, watch the trailer, but the trailer does spoil a little bit more than I would have wished that I would have. I wish I could have gone in not knowing anything and just watched it, but the trailer does a really good job. It's just it spoils a little bit too much. Number 9 is Gone Girl. One of the best directed movies of 2014. This was just amazingly shot. Ben Affleck, I really cared for his character. Ben Affleck is hit and miss. Lately, he's been doing better. Like the last few years, I've enjoyed more of his work. This is one of his best. Rosamund Pike, a lot of people loved her. I thought she was a little bit too, I don't know how to explain it, but she was just a little off in the movie in my taste. Sometimes I was like, oh, that's really good acting. Others I was like, kind of worrisome. But anyway, I really loved the mystery aspect of this movie. Like, did Ben Affleck do it or not? And they keep going back and forth. And I really liked that. The ending is interesting as well. Number 8, Captain America: Winter Soldier. Now, I love comic book movies. The last, ever since Iron Man, or even kind of X-Men, back in the 2000 era, they've been really just hitting it on the park. Just amazing. Every year we have like these comic book movies and they end up being in the top 10. So there's going to be a lot of comic book movies here. Captain America: Winter Soldier is what I wanted the first Captain America to be. Captain America, the first Avenger, just is probably the worst Marvel movie so far. It's just very mediocre. This one is like a spy flick. It's awesome. There's like a mini Avengers team. Like it's just a few members, Captain America being the lead, and a few other characters. I'm like, that's awesome, and it's really well done. And I hope that they continue being like this. I cannot wait for Civil War, especially with the chance of Spider-Man being in it. Speaking of, number 7, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I saw the first Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, and I was like, nope, not sold on this. And Amazing Spider-Man 2 was coming out. I was like, I'll go watch it, but I wasn't looking forward to it that much. I was really impressed with this movie. I did not expect to enjoy it this much. One of the main reasons being is that there was more comedy in it. Andrew Garfield kind of felt a little bit more like Spider-Man in this one. He's still not nearly, I'm happy that they're recasting it, because Andrew Garfield to me is not Spider-Man. He did a better job in this one, but still not the great. The best Spider-Man that we've seen is the 1994 cartoon, if anybody remembers that one. That was an awesome TV show, and that is the best Spider-Man and Peter Parker that we've seen. Same thing like the best Batman is the Batman animated series with Kevin Conroy. Best Batman right there. So, yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really liked Electro. He was kind of boring before he became Electro, but once he became Electro and they really showed off his power, I like that. I also like the music that they would play whenever he showed up. It was really ominous and, you know, really showed that he was a threat to be reckoned with. Number 6 is How to Train Your Dragon 2. I loved the first How to Train Your Dragon. That is my favorite animated movie of all time. So this one, you know, it's not as good, but it's still up there. The only negative I had with this movie was that there was a character that has been missing for a very long time, and everyone is just okay, and it's just like, oh, okay, welcome back. You know, you've been gone for 20 years, but it's okay. We're okay with this. It was just too quick to apologize. I'd be upset that this person has been gone for 20 years of my life. Anyway, that's the only complaint that I had about the movie. And I will say that this movie has balls. They do something in this movie closer to the halfway mark or near the end of the halfway mark where it's like, whoa, I did not see that coming. So I give the movie props for doing that, considering that they're going to be making a third one. Number 5 is The King of Monsters, Godzilla. This movie, you have to understand that you're not going to see Godzilla throughout the entire film. He only shows up for the third act of the movie, so the last, you know, 30% of the movie is when you actually see him, but it's worth it. Think of it as Jaws. You really don't see the shark that much until the last act of the movie as well. And that's how I treated it. So the build-up is, you know, slowly leading towards it, and it's so rewarding because they keep teasing you, and you're like, show me, show me. Finally they do, and it's like, oh, it's so satisfying. That's how I treat this movie. The build-up toward it is interesting as well. Not as interesting as Jaws. Jaws is a superb movie, one of the best movies of all time. So obviously it's a little bit better in the build-up. But I was interested. Bryan Cranston, I mean, you know, awesome. Number 4, another comic book movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. Talk about a bunch of like D characters. You know, Marvel's like, yeah, we're so good at this now, we can make a movie about anything. We could make a movie about like some character that we've, you know, showed on one page of one comic once, and it'll be an awesome movie. They are just so good. But a lot of this has to do, I think, with the casting. You know, Chris Pratt, amazing. He's gonna be, he is a future star. He's already there. You know, we're gonna see a lot more of him in the next few years. Batista was awesome. You know, Batista now is becoming a bigger star because of this movie, and he deserves it because he blew me away. When I first thought that he was going to be Drax, I was like, all right, you know, but he did a really good job. Groot, like, geez, man, freaking awesome. Vin Diesel, awesome voice acting. Only says one word. Just a really good, kind of like science fiction, Star Wars comic book movie. That's how I see it as. And hilarious. One of the funniest movies that I've seen in years. And it's like a comic book movie that has a lot of action. It's just awesome, awesome stuff all around. Number 3, another comic book movie, X-Men Days of Future Past. I saw the trailer for this, and that is the best trailer that I've seen in years. Trailers done well like that sell a movie. And the combination of the old X-Men cast reuniting with the new X-Men cast, you know, the ones from the 60s, was just, it's a dream come true, having all these characters together, intertwining because of the timeline difference. It's cool because it's very comic booky, so it just, everything about it was done in a way that's like, man, this is very much like a comic book movie film if you're a comic book guy or girl. But if you were just, you know, an audience member that never read any of the comics, you could follow this and really enjoy it. You might be a little bit confused because there's timeline stuff, but man, it was well done and entertaining to... I just love this movie. Hugh Jackman, I'm just so glad that he's being Wolverine again. Like, the new cast I like, but I'm just so happy that Hugh Jackman's part of it. At least for this movie. We're not sure yet if he's going to be in Apocalypse. It looks like he might be, and I really hope he is. Because he... Well, yeah, I won't say anything. Number 2. And this is where... Number 1 and number 2, it could have been either way. I originally had this movie penned as number 1. But after watching this one movie a few times... At the beginning it wasn't number 1, but after watching it a few times... I had to bump my number 1, which is now my number 2, Budapest Hotel. Almost made number 1, but this other movie that I saw a few times just bumped it down one thing. Budapest Hotel is a movie that I think a lot of people can enjoy if you like the comedy. Watch the trailer for this. If you laugh, you are going to love this movie. The cast in this, the way that it's directed, it's just such a well done movie in all aspects of the acting, the directing, the lines, oh, the dialogue. Oh my God. It's just so well done. I cannot praise this movie enough. You watch the trailer, if you enjoy it, you will enjoy the movie. I guarantee it. Now, my number one movie of 2014, which wasn't my favorite movie at the beginning. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. But after watching it numerous times, because the movie made me think constantly. A week later, I was still thinking about the movie. I was like, I gotta go see this again and again and again and again. It's a movie that just grew on me, and the flaws that I had with it I started understanding it more, and the flaws slowly disappeared. There are still flaws with the movie, don't get me wrong, but everything else in this movie is so well done, is so interesting, and it makes you think constantly over, and I'm still thinking about it now. And the music. The music is a large part of the reason why this movie is number one, because if you add music that is well done, it adds to scenes, it adds to a movie, it leaves a larger imprint in your mind, where that you want to listen to the music when the movie isn't there, but adding it to a specific scene with dialogue and what's going on. Interstellar. Man, the scene, the imperfect lock, the scene where they have to do something with a lock, that is the best scene I think I have seen in my entire life. That scene is done so well because of the music and because of what they have to do. And Tars is a character that is a robot, and he doesn't look like a human. He's basically just like a rectangle, and he walks around, and he's awesome. And I like that they took a character that is just, nothing. You don't have any facial expression at all to work with. And yet, his character developed so much that there's just, such a good character. Matthew McConaughey, one of his best movies. I love that McConaughey is starting to really become a big actor now, instead of, just doing his dramedies. Or not dramedies, but his romantic flicks that were also comedies. I really, really enjoy Matthew McConaughey. True Detective. Also, just an awesome TV series. First season, awesome, with Woody Harrelson. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I cannot praise Interstellar enough for how interesting it was, and how much... And then there's a surprise, like if you have not seen Interstellar yet, do not look at the cast, because there's a surprise halfway through the film, and you're like, oh my God, this person is in this movie? It's pretty freaking awesome. Just... all around, I loved Interstellar. Still has a few flaws, but for the most part, I just love this movie to death. And the more times I saw it, the more I enjoyed it, and the more I still think about it. So I cannot wait for this movie to come out on Blu-ray. Definitely a day one buy, and I'm hoping to get the Steelbook. So thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments below what your top 10 is and what movie you think I might have missed that, I should really check out. Maybe I have seen it, it just didn't make my top 10. I really want to know if there's other movies that I might have missed. There's a chance. So thank you all for watching. You've been bearded in. Beardage!